Welcome back, my night outers. DJ Psycho Eddie in studio. Bob Green from Greenwich Cove Meadery. That was Melissa and the Liberators, Melissa Bellarosa. Unfortunately, the Liberators are no longer together. However, Melissa is now with the Sugar Cones. Make sure you listen for them. I will be playing them as soon as they send me some of their music. In fact, I think Melissa's got an email coming to me shortly with some of that music, so you'll probably hear it in the upcoming weeks. So, Bob.
Yes.
We have, and if you're if this isn't your first episode, or if you've been listening for a while, you've heard Greenwich Cove Meadery on this show before, especially when we started off, because I did a written piece on this. I did a blog, and I got to say, it's one of the first places I can honestly say I am so happy is in my neighborhood. Please tell us. The shit.
I don't hear that too often.
Well, it's a local product, and we always support the local products, especially here on Rhode Island Free Radio. But it is one of the tastier local products that I and not to mention the after effects are just wonderful. So tell us a little bit about, before we even get into the business, tell us a little bit about mead. What is it, and what makes it so good?
Well, mead by definition is honey, water, and yeast, and then a fermentation process happens and you lead to alcohol. And the earliest forms of this would have happened in hollow trees with beehives, well before humanity even knew a thumb from our ass. And some bear and Neanderthal got drunk on it, and later on humans, killed all the Neanderthals. There's still honeybees around, so what are they getting drunk off of? And lo and behold, it's a free booze out of nature. And then the medieval times come around, all shit breaks loose, and then beer and wine becomes way more popular, which is why people don't really understand what mead is. It's not a beer, it's not wine. We're an alcoholic beverage is the best way to put it. We're naturally fermented, and it's delicious. I have a sweet tooth, so I go for sweeter meads, but it can be dry, semi-sweet, hopped, bitter, sour. It's
So flavors run the gambit.
It's an infinite amount of flavors. Just like a brewer these days, their eyes are open to the possibilities of the world. You can do some weird stuff and just end up with gold. I mean, alchemists had prayed for this century for thousands of years. And finally, we are able to create these ambrosias of gods.
And for those of you who are just tuning in, he does talk like this normally. He's not putting on a show just because he's on the radio. If you go in to get a sampling, first off, where are you located? What's your street address?
We are 579 Washington Street, Coventry, which is at the end of Fairview Avenue. And in Rhode Island terms, it's the old Greenway Psycho building.
Across from the fire station.
That's in trouble.
We weren't going to talk about the fire station being in trouble, but if they lose their jobs, they can always drown their sorrows in a nice big glass of mead.
Or they could let me have the building and let me brew even more.
Well, I stumbled upon Greenwich Cove Meadery because they had the sign for tastings. Now, I'm all for tasting alcoholic beverages. The more samples, the better. Of course, we cannot drink while we're on the air. However, afterwards, we can pretty much imbibe in anything we would like to. So I stopped in, and you guys only had about 4 or 5 flavors at that point.
Yep.
And we started talking, and I like to think I had something to do with you selling out before Christmas because we were advertising the heck out of you guys.
Yeah, that was insane.
Well, for those of you who have gone to some of the shows that I've done around Christmas time, I asked them if they could possibly come up with a gift basket, and they gave me what was possibly the biggest gift basket I've ever seen. It had to easily be worth almost $100. He gave me a couple of different bottles, glasses, gift wrapped it for me, put a bow on it. He did everything but carry it out to the car for me, which is what...
Whoa. I draw the line somewhere. It's for the kids, not for you.
Exactly. Which is why I didn't mind lugging 800 pounds out to the car by myself. A little exaggeration, probably 750. But now, back then you only had a few flavors. I know the Golden Good, the Berry Blast. What are some of the other flavors you started off with?
It was De Cristofaro's Piment, which was a grape mead with a local Italian family's 5-generational grapes that they stopped making the wine for, and I talked to them for a while, and they gave it to me, and well, they're happy enough to give me the grapes every year now because I give them a case of really good mead, by their words. And the other one was the Tart Delight, which was a cranberry from Cranberry Bogs in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And most of the honey that we're brewing with right now has been wildflower, raw, unfiltered, unheated honey out of Massachusetts, which it's hard finding a lot of honey, but we're trying to stick with as much a New England source as possible. Considering Texas is bigger than New England, I count us as all brothers.
Well, I was there just recently. Now, the flavors, first off, the Piment, I have to say, is one of my favorites because I also tend towards the sweet side. But now you're doing stuff with habanero and ghost peppers.
We actually sold out the last bottle of Dragon's Breath, which was our habanero chili pepper mead, 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And the Ghost chili pepper mead, which is our Golden Ghost, which was based off our Golden Good with golden Ghost chili peppers added to it, will be available hopefully within a month.
Okay. And now, for those of you who are wondering if they keep it green because of the green in Greenwich, I don't know if I'm even pronouncing it right.
I say Greenwich, but everybody says I'm wrong.
Greenwich,
but I'm a
Greenwich.
green, so...
It's okay. I live in West Warwick, so...
I always thought
we
Gren
don't
was Gren, so
we don't have them
see
fancy
where the
phonetic spellings around here.
We need Hooked on Phonics Monkey in
Hooked
Rhode
on
Island.
Pahonics. So, anyways, they do what I'm thinking is probably one of the greener things that I love this. You do a refilled bottle.
Well, yeah. I grew up liking the way that things used to be and seeing a lot of old films, and glass bottles is a definite. But the flip tops is what really sold me, and I just love the fact that you can put anything in them. You grab the Grolsch's from the beer store.
I was just going to say, everyone knows it as a Grolsch top, but it's a flip top.
Yeah, it's a flip top. But Grolsch made it just like Kleenex is a tissue, but it's actually a company name. But people say, oh, grab a Kleenex. You're not always grabbing a Kleenex.
By the way, we do not endorse Kleenex or Grolsch. I can't even say Grolsch. Yeah, all right.
Grolsch.
The green beer, the flip top bottle.
But those were awesome, and I like that I could put my own home brew in it. So as a home brewer, I think it's great that when I go to these kind of places that offer flip tops, I can take them home, or I can bring them to another brewery and have them filled up. That to me is cool, and inherently that helps out in the long run because everybody's so wasteful these days. It's nice to get back to the, full circle shit.
By home brewer, you're referring to, you used to actually brew beer too.
Yep. I started brewing beer when I was 21 with my roommate, Mike Tully, who's my VP at the company.
By the way, he was winking when he said 21.
It was just a little wink. Okay, it was a big one. We can't talk about this.
He was 12. Only kidding. He was 21 and one day. He was legal.
Yeah. It was. No, wait. I could start the brew earlier. I just didn't drink it.
You could not consume until you were 21.
See? I was just a chemistry experiment.
Yes, we're splitting hairs now. So you started brewing beer. Tell me about how you graduated from beer to mead.
The beer, I hate heating up the wort. It's just the most annoying process in the world. And when I was a little kid, I wanted to start a rummery. And I just thought starting with the beer, this would be a good place. And I hated it. I was just like, I don't want to heat this crap up. And a friend brought me and shared a bottle of mead that they'd homebrewed before. And I was like, this stuff is delicious. I'd heard about mead. This is what mead is? This is that stuff I heard about in Beowulf? You're kidding me. And then I went out and I bought a bottle of Chaucer's. And some people say, like, it's the cheap mead of meads in America.
It's the gateway mead.
Mead is just like craft beer to the point where you can't say, oh, that's the worst mead. No, I love Chaucer's, and some meads from other meaderies I don't like, but I'll like other of their meads. And it's that diversity that people have to understand. Just because you don't like one doesn't mean you're not going to like the next one. And you can put that to almost anything.
True.
Prejudice bastards.
Well, I got to say, and we'll go to break right after I say this. When I first tried the cranberry one the first time around, I am not a fan of tart. So it was not one of my favorites. It was still very good, don't get me wrong. It was just not one of my favorites.
It was made for cranberry juice fans.
However, your current incarnation of the cranberry...
Which is just cranberry, which is going to be transformed into our cardinal sin, which will have cinnamon sticks added into it.
It is phenomenal.
Thank you. It's been mellowing for about 9 months.
Yeah, that's another thing you have to keep in mind, everybody. Mead takes a very long time because of the amount of sugars in it to ferment.
And then the alcohol mellowing out. You can make booze within a week out of almost anything, but you're going to get a really bad alcohol-y taste. And the alchemy of any brewer that lets things to age, to let the alcohol dissipate in taste but not in volume, it's alchemy. And it's a great magic that they really haven't put their finger on why and how it mellows with such age. To the point where it's like, you don't taste the alcohol, but oh my God, he's on the floor. He felt it.
Well, now that we're talking about the actual alcohol, and we're talking about on the floor, why don't we take a break and listen to a song from the 610 Connector, another local band. We're going to leave here with the 610 Connectors song Novocaine, going to the My Night Out Radio. We'll be back.